Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It is Monday night, which means for the first time in over a week, I'm bringing you an NBR, a Nothing But Rants, the show where I bring you a set of topics that I'm rather passionate about, and I pontificate upon them. Got a great show for you guys planned tonight. It's been about a week's worth of topics that I've been, kind of mulling over and culminating for this very moment tonight. We got my boy Ditko back in town from seeing his lady out there in Texas, so his mind is nice and cleared. He's ready to ball out tonight on the ones and twos back there in the production setup we got here in the studio. Excited to have you guys in tonight. Could not be more excited to be back on camera. It's been a while. I missed my friendly microphone that takes these hot takes and absorbs them and feeds them right into your ears. Great show tonight. Visits returning to the world of college football, recruiting, and Kirby Smart is setting up a weekend for the ages. That's not an exaggeration. We're going to go through it tonight and break a little news on tonight's show. So stick around for that. We will close tonight's show with that and the newest names that I've heard and been confirmed and have had the chance to confirm as far as guys taking visits that weekend as well. I'll give you a spring practice update, including the latest on two injuries that happened this weekend. Unfortunately, two of Georgia's players went down. I will give you the latest news and notes on that. And finally, what I should say is what we're going to start with tonight is, social media, if it's brought us anything, worth a damn, it's brought us a way to hold, frauds and shams accountable when they're on social media or through social media. And that's right, I'm talking about the NCAA. We will get right into that to start tonight's show. A young lady by the name of Sedona Prince. I call her the TikTok alarm clock for the NCAA. I wrote that one today. Felt extremely creative when it came to the brain. But if you don't know who Miss Sedona Prince is, she is a 6'7" forward from Oregon. She plays on the women's basketball team out there at Oregon. She is in Indianapolis for the national championship and the tournament bracket that they're having for the women's basketball tournament. Now, the thing is, she wanted all that smoke with the NCAA. I mean, all that smoke. Ditko, if you would, please, kind sir, play me that clip for the audience.
I got something to show y'all. So for the NCAA March Madness, the biggest tournament in college basketball for women, this is our weight room. Let me show y'all the men's weight room.
It's pretty large.
Now, when pictures of our weight room got released versus the men's, the NCAA came out with a statement saying that it wasn't money, it was space that was a problem. Let me show y'all something else. Here's our practice court, right? And then here's that weight room. And then here's all this extra space. If you aren't upset about this problem, then you're a part of it.
A great little ender right there, right, Ditko? If you're not upset by this problem, then you're a part of it. First of all, great job by her. We'll address her in just a little bit. But cancel culture is a term that everyone throws around nowadays. The angry mob or whatever goes after and gets someone, whether it be old tweets, whether it be, some type of mistake that they made in their past that's now come to light through social media. Cancel culture can be a bit much at times. I'm with you on that, but it has at least through social media, there's been a sense of accountability for wrongdoings coming to fruition on social media feeds, right? Someone does something or an organization does something that doesn't seem right? I mean, the video we just showed you guys is not right at all. Everyone knew it was wrong. Everyone knew it was something to scoff at in terms of the NCAA, say, oh, how horrible the NCAA is. But without that video, without TikTok being this thing, right? Without this TikTok alarm clock having sounded off, things like this would have been going under the rug. I mean, they've been going under the rug. The NCAA makes $1 billion plus, over $1 billion every year annually in gross revenues. Now, they claim to pay back 96% of that $1 billion plus every single year, which leaves the NCAA's pot, if you will, which leaves their selection, their take of the thing, to be about $40 million, $3 million of which goes directly to Mark Emmert's bank account through his salary. So I tell you all that to tell you that the NCAA is a business that grosses, per their records, grosses $1 billion per year. $1 billion plus per year. And they claim, per their reports, to spend 96% of that budget, of those gross revenues. You're $1 billion company annually. You claim to spend 96% of that income annually. And you're cutting corners at the NCAA tournament? The national title, you're cutting corners. Well, and she said in her video, they claimed it had nothing to do with money. It had everything to do with space. Typical cop-out, right? We'll tell them something that they can't back up. Well, she had the nerve to go out there and show that there was ample space. Okay, and then ultimately the NCAA goes out and does the right thing by putting the original weight room and original weight set that probably should have been there in the first place. So if it wasn't a money thing, and if it wasn't, or you claim it's not a money thing, and you claim it was a space thing, we found out that that was wrong, and you ultimately go and do it anyways, you were wrong from the jump. And you probably had malice intent from the jump. You probably decided to just put a triangle set of dumbbell weights from 5 up to 15, I believe it was, and a daggum yoga studio or yoga mats and an adjustment table. That's all there was. Look, man, the NCAA has been doing this for years. They've been cutting corners. They've been cutting costs for years, and most of it has come out of the female sports, despite Title IX being around. Most of that money that they need to recuperate does come out of the women's sports, because you're not going to impact the product or affect the product that comes out from the male, or especially from the revenue-producing sports. You're not going to do that. So they cut their costs where they can find it, which is on the meals that the women were eating up there at the NCAA tournament, which is on the weight facility that the women were having to use up there at the NCAA tournament, which is on the meeting rooms, things like that. That's where you cut your costs. And they've been doing it for years. It's been there. The game has been crooked. Something I've been telling you guys forever. The game been crooked. Y'all just ain't been woke. Miss Sedona Prince over there in Oregon is going to wake y'all up. And she did. That's exactly what happened. She brought national attention to a storyline that was never going to reach more than a regional aspect, right? Had it not been for TikTok, had it not been for any of this, probably would have been swept under the rug. You and your average fan base, or you and the average viewer, would have known no difference. Wouldn't have been there. So if social media has given us anything, apart, again, I agree, cancel culture, not the best in the world. When an angry mob gets after something, normally they take it down. Okay? Innocent, guilty, doesn't matter. Malice intent does not matter. Typically, when the angry mob comes after you through social media, they're going to get you, whether or not you deserve to be gotten or not. In this case, the NCAA 1,000% deserved to be gotten. And they got because Sedona Prince, one extremely strong, vocal young woman in her college formative years, decided to take it upon herself to call attention to a storyline and, something that need to have attention called to it, and she got it. And changes were made because of cancel culture, because of outrage culture through social media, because one bad PR moment of one of your basketball players and one of your stars, your 6'7" power forward at Oregon, one of the, I believe Oregon's women's basketball, and don't quote me on this because I'm not the most avid women's basketball fan, but pretty sure they're a pretty good basketball program, and they're at least good enough to make the tournament. And she's calling, attention to that very, very important, storyline. Again, the game been crooked. Y'all just ain't been woke. Sedona gonna wake you up. Appreciate you, young woman, for doing something that needed to be done, which was speaking up and using your voice, and for that matter, using your platform. Y'all need to check her out on TikTok. She's doing all kinds of cool stuff. Well, I think it's cool. I think she's got a really good personality. She's outgoing. She's good on camera, which is something that I believe I can respect. Doing food reviews, things like that. I believe they got steak. They've been going OD lately, man. They've been going overboard up there in Indianapolis trying to recuperate for some of the public relations losses that were caused by this initial TikTok, and good on them. They at least addressed it. Now, they tried to lie and get out of it, kind of like LSU did with, it's fake money. You remember that? It's fake money. It's about the space. It wasn't about the space, and that was real cash. Okay, so everyone tries to lie initially. Okay, like when you break a vase, your mom's favorite vase, right? And she asks who did it, and you say, I don't know. Well, she surely knows who did it, and it was you. NCAA got caught with the hand in the cookie jar, tried to lie about it, got called out again, and then finally did the right thing. So good on them, but next time, let's not drag our feet. Next time, let's make something shake just a little bit earlier. All right, so I don't know if we got time, Dicko, to be taking phone calls tonight. I'm just going to avoid it. If somebody wants to hop in the Discord chat where we are live in the lounge, if they want to hop in there, initially mute them, and then if we need to, we'll throw it to them, okay? So let's just keep them back there and holding, and you throw your hand up if we got anybody. Guys, if you want to hop in tonight over there on the Discord channel for my Patreon subscribers, feel free to do so. We will make you guys a part of the show at some point tonight if you want to hop in. I know we're going to make you a large portion of the show at the end of tonight's show because we got some creative things that I've challenged the audience with, and they're going to bring the heat. I know Donsari over there on the Discord brought the heat today. I'm going to read you a daggum novel that he wrote because it's worthy, it's creative, it's witty, and for that matter, it's funny. So we'll bring you that. If you're not already, I'll take them time right now in between segments to take a second and just ask for your support, man, or females, whatever it is. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not a member of our Patreon community, please go over there and sign up today. And if money is an issue, our community over there, our Discord channel that's connected, by the way, to our Patreon subscription, they've gone about and created a community pool. So there are some finances available for anybody who may be tight on money and wants to be a part of the community, wants to be a part of our Patreon services, and wants to get the premium content and information. If that's you and you can't make it work, feel free to hit me up on Twitter, hit me up in the YouTube comments, whatever it is. If you want to be private about it, you can reach out to me in my direct messages on Twitter. We will take care of you. If money's not a problem, sign up. You got nothing to lose. Feel free to do so. I know we're loaded on YouTube. I assume we're loaded on YouTube right now. Probably got a bunch of commenters on there that are OG subscribers over on our Patreon platform. They will be the testament to how much of a value it brings to your fandom experience. So we appreciate you guys for joining in on that. Now, this next segment for my Patreon folks, probably going to be a little bit boring because they've already gotten all this information, especially our last segment when it comes to the visits and the added on list. These guys have had the list of visitors coming in June 4th for a week and a half now. When did I drop the nug? I think a week and a half now on official visits. It's been set for a minute. Kirby's been planning this for a minute, and we will tell you about it in just a while. But spring practice update, okay? Anyone who's ever played football at a collegiate level will tell you that nothing matters. Nothing matters until the pads come on. Okay, until shoulder pads get strapped over or, pulled on over the head and strapped up, jerseys get put on and helmets get put on, nothing matters. Kirby Smart said as much in his most recent press conference. He said, quote, "Everyone looks pretty and fast in shorts." Okay, once those pads come on, it's a different game. It's a completely different football game. Though I will say this, and anyone that's played, again, college football will attest to this, your first welcome to the show moment in college football is that first helmets practice. When you realize, just because I don't have pads on doesn't mean we're not playing football, okay? Or we're going half speed or anything like that. You're going full speed in helmets in college. I'm going to let you know that right now. You're going full speed. You just don't have pads on, and you're not going to tackle. Everything else, full speed. Offensive lineman, there's going to be 11 on 11. You're not going to have pads on. You're going to have your helmet on, and it's going to feel like it's full speed. Welcome to the show. That's going to happen. But I will say this. Once those pads do come on, we're talking about a totally different echelon of football, a totally different echelon of speed, intensity, and car crashes. Okay? Dicko, play the clip from spring practice this Saturday. Now, I will set this clip up. This is Big Jordan Davis interviewing sophomore defensive lineman Warren Brinson after practice. Give it to me, Dicko.
It's your boy JD. Instead of us getting an interview, I'm going to do the interview. How was your first day? Pads.
I mean, it's Georgia. We just hit hard, practice hard, do everything hard. First day pads, success.
No doubt. All right, now we're here with Adam Anderson. We're going to talk about the first day of pads. Adam?
Can I get in it?
That face, Adam.
All right, so the camera's flipped on me. I'm interviewing now. JD, this is Jordan Xavier Davis. First day of pads. How did it go?
First day of pads, we working out, working on our mentality, trying to get harder, trying to get stronger.
Stronger.
We went out there, we hit, got something to grab on finally, so it was a good thing. So we're just going to continue that and build off it.
It was great. First day of pads. Check marks.
First of all, Warren Brinson, Jordan Davis, electric on camera. Young men, by the time you're done playing in the NFL, about 12 years, hopefully I've climbed a little bit in this industry. I'd love to work with you because you're going to be dynamite on camera. You're going to be dynamite on air because that was good stuff. But I wanted to draw attention to one quote that Warren Brinson had, right? He said, and I quote, "I mean, it's Georgia. We just hit hard. We practice hard. We do everything hard," right? It was their first day in pads, and they were going full speed. If you watch some of the clips that Georgia's athletic department put out, Georgia's football Twitter account put out, it's physical. As I told you, it was going to be. It's physical, right? It's college football. It's SEC football. It is a national powerhouse type of national year in, year out, national title contender type of environment. That's what's going on. But practicing hard comes with a little bit of risk, right? Especially when you have extremely powerful bodies that haven't really experienced that trauma, right? Because that's what it is. The only way I can explain, and I've never played it at an SEC level, but the only way I can explain what college football feels like to the average viewer or the average fan, somebody who hasn't played past, let's call it, high school football, or maybe even middle school football. The only way I can explain college football is, have you ever been in a car crash? Have you ever been in a car crash where things happen so fast, you don't really feel anything, but the next day you feel everything, right? The adrenaline settles, your body sets in. Dicko, turn the camera back on since you want to be a part of this. You look like you've been in a car crash before, and you can explain this. That's what college football feels like, right? That initial trauma, that's what it feels like. Dicko, have you been in a car crash?
No.
You have not, but you understand what I'm talking about, right? That adrenaline's coming in, right? That adrenaline wears off about the next morning, or maybe even the day after. You wake up and that soreness starts to settle in.
Yeah, man, you feel it the next morning for sure. Like, I mean, especially after spring practice started.
Yeah.
That was my first year. Like, I only played my freshman year. And that first spring practice, it wasn't bad for practice.
Yeah.
That next
because you're juiced up.
Yeah.
And that next morning, it's a whole settle in.
That next morning was something else, man.
But, I mean, it's more than that, right? It's not just the next day soreness. It's the initial trauma that the body is now undergoing, right? If I run you through a series of 100 car crashes a day for 6 months, by about month 3, your body starts to become accustomed to the trauma and the traumatic experiences that you're putting it through, right? About month 3, you really start to feel okay. It sounds weird, but the contact doesn't hurt as bad. The day after, the next morning doesn't hurt as bad, because that's the natural progression of a human. To settle in, to eventually become accustomed to the environment that you're currently in. Well, when you get immersed in that initial environment at the very beginning, there's some trauma that's bound to happen. I tell you all that to tell you that, unfortunately, injuries are a part of this. Okay, every year during OTAs at NFL camps, you see knee injuries, you see Achilles injuries, you see shoulder injuries, you see neck injuries, you see concussions at a higher rate than the midseason form, right? It's because bodies haven't been experiencing it lately. And that's exactly what happened Saturday. Kenny McIntosh goes down with an elbow injury, and Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins, the freshman defensive tackle, goes down with a knee injury. What I'm about to say sounds extremely, extremely harsh, but it is the reality of what this life in football means. This is life in football. Occasionally, this is going to happen, okay? Unexpected injuries, especially for a guy like TID, and it is awful. It is absolutely sucks. You're literally the first day you strap shoulder pads on and put pants on, you're hurt in college football. Coming off of off-season surgery. When he, as I've told the Patreon audience, and some of you guys might have figured this out now, it might have leaked out on other outlets, but I told the Patreon audience 3 months ago. 3 months ago, in December, when Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins enrolled as an early enrollee during bowl game practices, first thing they did was put him under the knife. They cleaned up something in his knee. He was ready to go, per the doctors, went out there, got hurt first day. It's criminal. It makes your heart hurt, but again, it's the harsh reality of the situation. It is what it is. It's going to sound like I'm being a mean person, Big Bad Brooks. But, again, dislocated elbows, whatever it is that Kenny's got going on with his elbow, part of football. Knee injuries, part of football, especially early on in the season. What does it mean for Georgia? It means that you're one of your key running backs, one of the mouths to feed, as the hot term we've used all offseason. One of the mouths to feed is now injured. He's not going to get much. He's not going to get much, if any, reps other than mental reps during spring practice. Okay. It also means your young defensive tackle that probably wasn't going to get called on this year, but might have been later on in the season. I guarantee you, going into 2018, I believe it was, Georgia wasn't expecting to rely upon Jordan Davis as a nose tackle 8 weeks into the season, but they needed him. And he started the last 3 games, I believe it was, and balled out. And next thing you know, he is a 3-year starter for Georgia at nose tackle. So that kind of thing can happen. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen now that TID's been hurt again, but it definitely hinders that process, right? And a couple of Georgia's key incoming freshmen over the last couple of years have continued to get hurt early on in their career or had to have things cleaned up from their, scar tissue, whatever it was, from their previous career. That's football. That's life in college football. And if you're not prepared for it, then you're not prepared for it. And you're probably not going to survive. I trust the mental wherewithal of both these individuals. I'm not worried about it. And for that matter, it's not going to be the last one. I'm just going to go and tell you, there's going to be more. Okay? People are going to get banged up. That's the way of life in football. My dad used to say all the time, he'd say, injuries are as big of a part of football as first downs and turnovers. It is what it is. It's going to happen. You cannot avoid it. You can do your best to avoid it, but you're not going to be able to. All right, we got our last segment. We're running fast tonight. It's probably because I drank 2 cups of coffee prior to tonight's show, and I'm just amped to be back on. Dicko, I'm assuming we've got nobody loaded up, so we're good to go. We're good to go right into our next one, and we're done for audio for the night. So whatever. All right, Georgia. Massive weekend coming up in June. Now, it is a little over 2.5 months away. I understand that. Anticipation, let the beat build, Brooks, right? Let the anticipation, let the hype build a little bit closer to this date. But it's 3 months from now, 2.5 months from now. Guys have already scheduled them. It's the talk of the town. It's the talk of college football. And that's the return of visits. Now, the NCAA hasn't officially approved these new visits or this quiet period that they're ultimately going to shift to. And we are in a dead period now. We're going to move to a quiet period. What's a quiet period? A quiet period is schools can host visits. They can't go to kids. That's all a quiet period is. I don't know if it's ever been enacted. I don't even know if they just made it up now, if it's a new thing with college football. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I've heard of dead periods. I've heard of, active periods. Never heard of a quiet period. Maybe it's been in the bylaws forever. It's new to me. It's new to most audiences. Basically, all it means is they can have kids on campus. They can't go to kids. That's all that means. But with it opening up in June, we've gone, by the time June rolls around, we will be at about 15 and a half months, almost 16 months, no visits. Kids have not been on campuses. Kids have not had interactive face-to-face recruiting visits or interactive conversations with coaches face-to-face in over 16 months by the time this comes around. Sure, can Addison Nichols take a trip up to Athens and walk around campus just like every other civilian? Yes, he could have done that over the last 16 months. A lot of kids did, right? Especially in that 2021 recruiting class. It seemed like Brock Vandegrift was a host almost every single week for any player that wanted to come see Athens, and Brock would take them around campus. That's all great. Real visits are coming back. Okay, real visits are coming back, and young, impressionable males in their 16, 17, 18-year-old range are going to be going back on $1 million campuses and facilities for the first time in 16 months. And Georgia is planning a hellified list of athletes to be on campus the weekend of June 4th. And I'll give you the list right now. Confirmed. These are guys that have already tweeted out graphics, edits, whatever. It's public knowledge that these individuals will be on campus June 4th. Oscar Delp, the tight end out of West Forsyth. Wide receiver Kojo Antwi out of Lambert High School. Offensive lineman Addison Nichols from Great Atlantic Christian. Those 3 guys are already confirmed. They're in-state guys. They will be there. Tyler Booker, we'll get to him in a second. He's already set his official visit date for June 18th of this year. Okay, now here's the list of guys that I'm going to tell you based off my sources and my information. I'm not going to say this is breaking news, but this is news to the audience. The general audience that's not on our Patreon platform, this is news to you. So enjoy. I fully expect Denylon Morissette, wide receiver out of Brookwood High School, to be in Athens June 4th. Hasn't been fully announced. He will be there. I'm telling you. Marquise Groves Killebrew, though he prefers to take his official visit during season, guess what? He lives in Gwinnett County. He's about an hour and 15 minutes from Athens. He can go to Athens whenever the hell he wants. He'll probably be up there, I would imagine. At some point during that weekend, Marquise Groves Killebrew, the cornerback commit from Brookwood High School, will be up there. Tyree West, the defensive lineman commit from Tift County, one of the very first commitments in this 2022 class, fully expect him to be on campus. CJ Washington, same thing. I would not be surprised if Donovan Westmoreland was on campus, and for that matter, Darius Smith was on campus. All the in-state guys I fully expect to be on campus June 4th. Now, guys that have been invited that I don't know whether or not they're going to show up, but I do know for the fact they have been invited. Christian Miller, Michael Williams, 2 of Tyree West's best friends. I would imagine there's a good possibility that at least one of those guys will be in Athens that weekend. that's a massive achievement and a massive get for Georgia. Now, guys I expect, and you'll probably never hear a word from them. They won't confirm nor deny. You won't hear reports about it, I wouldn't imagine. Gunnar Stockton and Malachi Starks, both two young individuals that are very, very quiet. I mean, very quiet. Introverts as a natural personality. You're not going to hear any announcement or any breaking tweet or any, I don't even know if you'll even see a graphic out of these guys. I'm honestly surprised that they even make commitment announcements. They're very, very quiet. Malachi Starks is set to commit this Thursday. He's told me in a recent interview with Dogs Daily, check it out, dogsdaily.com, is coming out tomorrow, that despite whether or not, he's going to commit this Thursday, he's going to take his officials. He's going to take his officials. So if he commits to Alabama or even Georgia, especially Georgia, guess where he's going to be June 4th? He's going to be in Athens with all these guys. They're going to stack it up, and they're going to get all these in-state takes is what I call them. We have the takes and non-takes discussions all the time. We shouldn't have to, but we do, right? These are prospects that actually have what we call committable offers, right? Is he a take is the reference that we're making here. All the in-state takes, guys that they will take a commitment announcement from, I expect to be on campus June 4th, all of them. Whether it be an official visit or an unofficial visit, I expect those guys to be there. They're planning it as such. They're planning for June 4th to be the biggest recruiting weekend in the history of college football. And here's why. We're talking 16 months, no visits. 16 months of 16, 17, and 18-year-old kids not having the dopamine rush of walking into Sanford Stadium or walking around the facilities that are hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. By the way, Georgia's $80 million facility is expected to be well done by then. Okay, the barbershop expected to be well done by then. Okay, the kind of well done you don't want your steak. Like no red meat up in that thing. Period. It's going to be ready to roll. These kids are going to be super impressionable. Haven't been on campus in forever. Haven't taken visits in forever. Haven't been wined and dined by athletic staff such as Georgia's in forever. They're going to be commit drunk. Absolutely commit drunk. So why is he doing it? Why is he doing it? He wants to make sure that the very first campus these kids step foot on, especially these in-state guys that have the ability to return this fall for an unofficial or a visit in an unofficial, style to come to a game. All these in-state guys will be able to do that this fall. So there's no fear in torching an official visit now. Tyler Booker, different case. Out-of-state kid, but he's already been on campus multiple times for unofficial visits. He's clearly dedicated to coming up and taking these visits. So he'll be fine. Even though he's burning an official this fall or this summer, he'll be back on campus this fall. I can almost guarantee it. You can almost write it in stone. So they're taking the initial gamble on if we make sure these initial official visits are on campus in Athens first, we don't have to worry about some kid going out and being swindled or swayed by your first visit being in LA. Because I promise you, that's going to blow your mind, whoever you are. You're 17 years old, maybe never even been out of the state of Georgia, and you take a flight to LA, and they've got a TV and movie studio right across the street from their athletic department and athletic facility. That's going to be crazy. But it's not going to be as crazy for you and as jaw-dropping for you if you spent the week before with Kirby Smart in Athens. You see what I'm saying? So that's the plan here. And what are the expected results? I think that should be the question, right? What are the expected results for this biggest recruiting weekend in history? And why are you putting that much weight on it? Well, I'm putting that much weight on it because we've never had this. We've never had 16 months of a dead period, ever. So it's very, very crucial. It's very, very crucial. And ideally, you do see a flurry of commits immediately after this, right? You do see guys that aren't committed like Denial Morissette, Kojo Antwi committing to Georgia after this, Oscar Delp. You want them to rush commitments, but if they don't immediately commit after that, the good news is, again, you're hosting these guys for officials in June. They're all in-state guys. Wes Forsythe is 45 minutes from downtown Athens. He'll be back on campus, Oscar Delp will, I guarantee you. Kojo Antwi, Northeast Georgia prospect. Guarantee you he can get his way back to Athens for a visit in an unofficial setting. Guarantee you. So it's really a win-win situation for Georgia. You get all your in-state takes in a 2022 class that we've been talking about for months about how deep it is, how extremely deep it is in the state of Georgia. You get an opportunity to get all these guys back on campus together allow them to mingle, allow them to get to know each other, and for that matter, allow them to get to mingle with some current Georgia commits and that Georgia staff that's absolutely loaded. So, let's play a game. Ready to play a game? I'm ready to play a game. Here's the game, okay? We told the Discord about this today, and we had some what? You good? We had some pretty nice entries into this game. Here's the game. So, here are the rules. It's June 4th. You're in Athens, Georgia, and you've got 12 to 15 of the nation's top prospects, all of the in-state takes, as we said, on campus, and you're Kirby Smart. How do you go about creating these visits? I'll start. Okay, here's my first one. You ready? Ready, Dicko? Okay, I've got Kirby taking them to a roller skating rink at the local Dazzles, but instead of the DJ that insists on playing early 2013's hip-hop hits, Kirby brings in Quavo himself. And spoiler alert, turns out Dan Lanning and Glenn Schumann are absolutely cold at skating, and they end up tandem skating to the hit song Motorsport from the 2018 Migos hit album, Culture 2. That's what I got going on. Dicko, what say you about an official visit of 12 to 15 of the nation's top prospects going to a roller skating rink with a special performance of Quavo from the Migos?
Nah, dude, I'm telling you right now, I think Kirby's gonna. 1 second, sir.
He's not used to it, man. Hot mic's not his thing. It's not working. Your mic is not working, is what you're telling me. Okay, his mic is not working. So I'm going to rattle off these things until he gets his mic figured out. So that's my first one. Tandem skate, Dan Lanning, Glenn Schumann. That's going to be money, dude. I'm telling you right now, it's absolute money. My second one, I've got Kirby Smart ordering, copious amounts, like tons and tons of Mickey D's, Arby's, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, Burger King, Domino's. Let's throw Taco Bell in there and straight up macking out on some food, White House, Clemson national title style. That's what I've got going on. And this segment would have been so much better if Dicko and I were exchanging these back and forth. But I'm going to keep rattling them off. So it's not that big of a deal. Now, my next one. I got 5 of these, by the way, so just sit out. And then I got like a full 1,400 words. Are you trying to test your audio right now? 1,400 words from one of our submittals on the Discord channel. So my third one, I've got Kirby bringing back Big Ben Cleveland, taking them to a deer hunting, taking them deer hunting, all of them, on a local hunting farm, then throwing a barnyard party style featuring Lil Nas. Two of mine have musical acts in this. Lil Nas performs Old Town Road inside the barn party. Sounds lit to me. I don't know how you don't get every single one of those kids to commit immediately after. It's a joke. 4, I've got Kirby Smart taking the fellas to a local water park. A local water park. Fill that one out. And, spoiler alert, Kirby and Will Muschamp ultimately get kicked out of the water park for standing up on the slides and roughhousing in the lazy river. I got a chuckle back there. Yeah. I could totally see that. Can you, Dicko? Will Muschamp and Kirby Smart maybe wrestling just a little bit too hard in the lazy river and getting kicked out of the water park?
I'd rather not think about that.
I mean, you didn't have to take it that far. I know y'all didn't hear him, but yeah, 2 grown men wrestling in a water park. Probably not there, but Kirby Smart, Will Muschamp, super competitive, ultra mega alpha dog ego type guys. They can get the knuckling up in the water park. Wouldn't be surprised. And my 5th and final one, and this is my best one, Dicko. I want you to hear this one out. Okay, I've got Kirby Smart for this official visits list on June 4th, bringing in the local United States Army Rangers Pararescue Division to train each individual athlete in parajumping. Then, Kirby Smart will have the local military base, where he stashes his private jet, fly all 12 prospects over Sanford Stadium and drop them out of the sky like a real-life Warzone episode. Okay? Each player is strapped to the gills with an airsoft gun, handgun, right? With semi-automatic airsoft guns hidden all around campus. Last man standing at the end of the visit receives a day 1 starting job in Athens. What do you think about that? To hell with laser tag. Let's drop him out of the sky. Let's PJ him down onto Sanford Stadium and make him play real life Warzone.
It's friggin' genius, dude.
I think it is friggin' genius. All right, now let's read the actual genius. Now, audience, I'm gonna forewarn you here. This is gonna take a minute. Okay, I'm not the best reader in the world, but I'm gonna read this as best I can. This is a submission through our Discord channel, and it is worth free merch for when we go to Dan Kiley's house and Ditko dunks on all of the Patreon subscribers this summer when we have our meetup of Patreon and Discord family only. This comes from Dansari over there on the Discord channel. And again, buckle up. This might be bad radio, but this is what I call you guys pay me to read. So pay me to read right quick. All right, here we go. Dansari says, and this was today at 3:33 p.m. It starts off like any other big recruiting visit. The boys come in with their parents and get a full facility tour. We got a caller? Just hold them right quick. Caller, hang out right quick and just let us read this and just enjoy it, bathe it, soak it in. Let's start over. It starts off like any other big recruiting visit. The boys come in with their parents and get a full facility tour. They pass Big Ben Cleveland on the bench press, quietly muttering 50, 50, 50 to himself over and over again. He looks tired. Kirby takes Ben aside and says something to him the recruits can't hear. Ben leaves, muttering to himself even further. During the tour, they pass by one of the rooms they're not allowed to enter. Kirby says only serious recruits to the G are allowed to see what's inside. The young men are intrigued, but brush it aside. They finish their grand tour, and Chick-fil-A Nugs are waiting for them for lunch. Kirby delivers them in a McDonald's bag. Kojo Antwi chuckles. Kirby says, quote, "This is from Brooks. If you know, you know." Several recruits look around the room confused, but a few knowingly nod. They frequent the Discord chat, quietly lurking. Enjoy the show of it all. A new Chick-fil-A sauce is revealed to the recruits to show them how important they are to the state. Each tastes like honey barbecue and victory. The team comes in during lunch so they can meet the potential new teammates. That is the team, the roster, comes in to meet their potential new teammates. A few of them stand to talk about the mindset of the new season, explaining they're more keenly focused on their mentality this season and not just their physicality. A single tear crawls down Gunnar Stockton's cheek. Denylon Morissette notices. After lunch, the parents are asked to leave. Dan Lanning takes the players to see some of the campus and then bowling and dinner. They'll be busy for a while, so Kirby has some fun up his sleeve. First, he brings them to the Stegman Arena to play a game of horse. After 20 minutes, cheerleaders show up for practice. Oscar Delp smiles knowingly. As they are leaving, the gym dogs show up for practice. Oscar smiles again, his smile turns into a cheeky grin. Kirby notices. They come back to the indoor practice facility. Handheld fireworks line the walls. The recruits gather in with puzzled expressions. Without saying a word, Dale McGee picks up a firework, lights it, and starts sprinting down the line, laughing hysterically and launching tiny airborne flaming daggers at teenagers. Albeit, we're only about halfway through this, so just buckle up. Okay, a ruckus game of firework tag breaks out. The janitor stares from the shadows with a forced smile towards the shenanigans. Shout out. Thinking about how much he gets paid and how long his day will be. Will Muschamp appears from the shadows in a banana outfit, quickly taking charge of the black team as Todd Hartley takes charge of the red. Kirby doubles over from laughter at the sight of his old friend in a yellow banana costume. The fireworks are quickly expended and Kirby whistles. The lights dim. Coach Adai emerges from the shadows with the cheerleading team from earlier. Callback, how about that? Along with dozens of aides carrying in laser tag equipment. That's right, Adai exclaims. Suit the hell up. Another raucous game of tag emerges. This time, less painful, but much more competitive. After 20 more minutes, the recruits are beat. Wondering what else could come of this wild day, Kirby brings them to the locked door from earlier. It is shimmering gray color and smells of rich mahogany. He looks at each one in the eye and says, if you're ready to commit to a winning team, to the silver britches, you can see what's behind this door. If you aren't, that's all right. We're going to keep talking to you because we think each and every one of you has the skills and the mindset to play for this program. But only commits can pass through this threshold. Most recruits instantly step up, compelled by intrigue and pride at the red and black. Kirby knocks on the door 4 times in quick succession. 3 slower knocks answer. And the door opens from inside. Dale McGee is there, smiling broadly. The recruits step into what can only be described as rather plain-looking den, filled with couches and a conspicuously large VR setup. Confused, the recruits begin to stammer, only to be cut by a voice from the darker corner of the room. Hey, y'all ready to go to space? Snoop Dogg, of all people, emerges, the shadows floating around him. The recruits realize they aren't shadows, but heavy bellows of smoke. Where's this Who is this guy? I don't even know who this guy is. A muffled cough and giggle echo from the same corner where Elon Musk appears. So now we've got Snoop and Elon Musk. Snoop starts handing out contributions from his personal stash to the young men. I can only imagine he's talking about some type of herb at that point. While Elon is chatting with Marquise Killebrew about SpaceX and the Hyperloop. Kirby leaves so as to have plausible deniability. The aides from laser tag start getting the VR set up. You see, Elon sent a few of his most trusted employees in a freaking spaceship to the moon with the VR gear, and the recruits take turns taking. We're going to avoid the taking hits of this. And putting on the headsets, figuratively going to space in more ways than one. An hour passes by and the recruits are ushered out of the room, dazed and amazed at what just took place. Kirby returns, telling them they have a specific mindset this year, and the team wants all of the young men in front of him included. The recruits leave, back to their parents who are none the wiser. On the way home, Oscar smiles, reminiscing. His mother notices. What are you grinning about? Oscar grins back. Georgia just feels like home. That man sent that into the Discord at 3 o'clock in the afternoon today, doing God knows what. We do have a phone call, correct? Let's take it. Who is it, by the way?
DT.
My boy DT. What do you got for me, my brother? Cue him up. It's not working. 1 second. Sorry. I know that was probably bad radio. I didn't realize reading it until just how actual long it was. When I was reading it today, thought it was pretty creative. It was much more creative and thought out than, Dan Lanning and Glenn Schumann tandem skating in a skating rink at the local Dazzles. Are we good, Dicko?
DT, leave the room and join back.
DTB, leave the room and join back. We will grab you in just a second. Otherwise, great show tonight. I don't know how long we've been. It's 9:45, so it's been pretty good. And if we don't have any phone calls, that's fine. If we can't get it patched in, that's okay. I will take the time out to say, sorry if I bogged you down with that long message. But when a Discord member gets in there and puts that much effort in, then sorry. Shout out to you. A newer member to our OG subscription. Appreciate you for doing that. Appreciate your time. And I thought it was air quality worthy. That much, Snoop Dogg, Elon Musk, Oscar Delp, in-story quotes, Kirby Smart with a hidden room, Ben Cleveland muttering 50, 50, 50 over and over again. That's genius stuff. High quality stuff. We're out on the audio. We're not going to get it.
Buddy's here.
He's here? Can we hear him? DTB, do you got anything for me?
Buddy.
Excuse me, buddy. Do you want to say anything tonight, bud?
No, he's muted.
Now he's muted. All right. I'm done with it. We're going to call it a night. Period. Point blank. Appreciate you guys for being here. I will be on Patreon only Wednesday. We're going to do a film study. I don't know what it's going to be. Probably, I don't think we've done Latavius Bernee yet, have we? We will do him, most likely from the Peach Bowl. And then next week, I think Sunday night, I might do a live Jalen Carter review. And I'm just going to let you know, that mofo might be 3 hours long. Okay? Nobody on Georgia's roster made more what the F just happened plays last year than Jalen Carter. Hands down. Not a single person. He absolutely destroyed plays up and down the field as a true freshman last year at Georgia. Dicko, send us out. I appreciate you guys for being here. We will see